We have breaking news for you as we come on the air. 10 TV News at 11. U.S. officials have confirmed an American aircraft has crashed in Iraq and rescue efforts are underway. I want to thank you for joining us on 10 TV News at 11 and on 10 TV Plus. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Yolanda Harris. Now, here's what we know right now. The plane was a KC-135 Stratotanker, like the ones you're seeing here on the screen. Now, this is not a combat plane. It's a refueling aircraft that keeps every fighter jet, every bomber, every surveillance plane in the air during this war. It's like a gas station in the air. Officials say it had at least 5 crew members on board. The military says rescue efforts are underway.
U.S. Central Command says the crash wasn't due to hostile or friendly fire. 2 aircraft were involved. 1 landed safely, while the military calls the second, the KC-135 Stratotanker, quote, a loss. We have a unit that does this kind of work right in our backyard here at Rickenbacker Air National Guard Base.
And we reached out to officials with the National Guard as well as U.S. and state officials to find out if any airmen from Ohio are connected to this incident. So far, we're not hearing back. We are getting insight on the work of these refueling units. So let's bring in 10 TV station Ken right now. And station, you have actually flown in these planes. You've been around them. You know how they work. So you've worked with airmen across the country. Tell us a little bit about, give us some insight on this KC-135.
This plane and the airmen who are responsible for the work within it, they are the most prolific refueler in the Air Force. Their work is so important because they keep our military aircraft fueled and flying longer. That's their mission. We're talking about a gas station in the sky. That's what we talk about with these KC-135s. It's KC-135 Stratotanker, and they move into the air, and their main goal as a unit is to keep America's military aircraft up in the air for whatever their mission is. So they do gas in pounds in the Air Force, and the KC-135 does 250,000 pounds of gas when it moves up into the air to begin refueling planes. And this happens 20,000 feet in the air. It takes just minutes. They can refuel any aircraft in the Air Force, the Navy, and NATO. So you can understand that in this moment, right now with what's happening all over the world, the mission of the KC-135 and refueling units like the 121st, it's very, very important to all military missions.
Absolutely. You need to keep going and have, refuel.
They don't have to land.
Right.
They can stay in the air and they can keep going.
You top them off in the air and they can
That's right.
loiter over those targets that they're striking right there. But just by looking at some of the videos, some of the stories that you have done there, they did, from what we understand, find a friendly airspace to do this while this was happening today. But this is inherently risky work.
It is, because if you look at the way it happens, an airman will go to the back of the plane in an area called the boom pod, and they are the boom operator. They get on their belly in the back of the plane, use some joysticks, basically. It looks like a video game controller almost. A window will open in the back of the plane, and they send out the boom. That's what is almost like when you have the gas pump. It's the boom. And the boom reaches out, will touch the other aircraft, and they will give them gas. They can stay fueled, but they are touching mid-air.
Wow.
Sometimes 20 feet apart.
Right.
It really is inherently risky. I'm sure our airmen would say, well, we do this all the time because they're always flying, they're always training, they're always staying on top of their skills to make this happen every day. And that's really what's incredible, is that this is happening in the sky above us every single day. We rarely get to see it, but this work is such an important part of what the U.S. military needs.
And I understand that this is one of the oldest airplanes, this type of aircraft that the military has. I believe the first one was 1956, something like that I read. So this is a aircraft they're familiar with, and it's been doing these missions for a long time. What do you think? You said that also it can do things other than refueling.
They can
actually
move
carry
cargo, they can move people, because in addition to all that space for fuel, they also have space to be whatever the military needs them to be. So we are talking about really incredible utility work that they can do as part of the U.S. military.
Oh, goodness. So just an orchestrated dance up there
It's
in the
really
sky,
incredible.
getting this taken care of.
You
It
hear
really
gas
is.
station in the sky. That's exactly what this is, and it's all happening in the sky above us.
Well, the reason why we're bringing this to folks is because we have that type of work being done right here. Any loss of life is terrible. We don't want any of those names to track back to here. But,
Yeah,
no friendly fire, no hostile fire. This has to lead to an accident, you would think.
And no word on who this unit is connected to at this point.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Stacia, for your insight. I know you have a lot of experience with the military and doing the stories and being active and
Their work
your
is so
family being
important.
in it. So absolutely, and give us some context with this so we understand. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.